All right, what's up, everyone? I got my $40,000 payout approved on the 9th, and I have just received the $40,000 check this morning, which is crazy, because I'm just 21 years old. I'm not the smartest trader. I don't have a crazy strategy. I'm very average trader, and I really got the payout approved because I followed all of the rules. I had a plan and I followed the plan, and that was it. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be going over all the Apex rules that you need to follow in order to get your payout approved and what I did exactly in order to get the payout approved. I'm not going to be going over too much chart work. If you're wondering, how I trade, what setups do I trade, what concepts do I trade supply and demand, and I trade breakouts. Okay, I have a video going over my A plus setups. It's on my channel somewhere. I recently posted it about 2-3 months ago. So if you want to see strategy videos, I only have one strategy, and this is it right here. Okay, not every single trade, 95% of the trades that I took, it was with these setups right here, supply and demand. It's simple. That was it. But I'm not going to be going over that in today's video. I want to go over all of the rules with Apex. All right. And it's a couple. Okay, so this might be a long video. First rule. Let's scroll up here. Okay, first rule is the trading days. You need 8 trading days, and at least 5 of those 8 trading days must be over $50 your profit. Okay, meaning that you could flip 3 of the 8 days. If you don't know what flip means, it just means entering in and out on a trade. That way it counts as a trading day. Okay, so you could flip 3 of the days. Okay, another main rule is their 30% consistency rule. And honestly, the consistency rule is very, very simple to calculate, and it's very simple to follow. Okay, so basically what I did was I calculated what does my biggest profitable day, these next trading days, need to be. Okay, what is the max profitable day that I could get? Because I don't want to have a crazy winning day, because if I have a crazy winning day, then I have to make way more money. That way I could get over this 30% consistency rule. Okay, so what I did was I got the calculator out and I said, okay, I need to make $4,100, meaning my biggest day can't be over $1,230. If you're wondering how I calculated that, I put 4,100 times 30%, and that equals $1,200. Yes, I know my phone is cracked. The screen protector is cracked, okay? Not the actual phone. Anyways, yeah, so once I knew, okay, my biggest day can't be over $1,200, because if it is over $1,200, then I need to be making way more money. That way the payout gets approved. So that was that. If you struggle with consistency rules, you simply just need to understand what your biggest day could be. Okay, that way you don't need to be making extra money unless you want to build a buffer. Okay, they also have another 30% rule, which is also known as the MAE rule. Okay, boom, right here. It's called their 30% negative P&L rule, MAE. No clue what MAE. Okay, right here. Maximum adverse excursion. Simply what that means is an open negative P&L cannot exceed 30% of the account's profit balance at the start of the day on per trade basis. So the way I calculated this was, okay, what's 30% of my drawdown? 30% times my drawdown, which is $2,500, is $750. So then from there I understood, okay, A single loss can't be over $750. Mind you, if you're risking $750 on a 50K account, that's a very aggressive risk. That is risking, for me, that would be way too much risk on one single trade. Okay, so what I was doing, each trade, I risked around $200 to $300, and that was that. That's simply what this MAE rule is. Okay, you can't take a huge loss. That's basically what it is. It's that it. If you see a payout getting denied because of this rule, they simply just over risked on a single trade. That's it. Okay. Their next rule is a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio rule, which basically means you can't risk $5 to make $1. Makes sense, right? You can't risk $500 to make $100. If you have a negative risk reward ratio, I why do you have that? There is a lot of people that are successful with negative risk reward ratio ratios, but it's very rare. Okay, the reason it's rare is because, I mean, you win one trade, fine, but you lose one trade and you're taking 5 steps back. you know so honestly, if you struggle with this 5-to-1 risk reward ratio rule, you're donezo. Okay, you simply just have to have good RR. You can have a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio and be fine. You can have a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, and that's all you need. That's how I did it. I didn't have a crazy risk reward ratio. I simply just had a 1-to-2, and that was it. But yeah, mind you, a lot of these rules are not insane rules. A lot of these rules are meant for you to actually trade, okay, not gamble. That's why they're there. Apex wants to see an actual trader. Why? If they don't have live accounts, why do they want to see real traders? Because most people aren't real traders. They just think trading's a hobby. So they trade for fun. They trade based off of emotions. Okay? The 1% people that actually get paid out from Apex are actual traders. They actually have a system that they follow. And they actually follow the rules. Just saying. Okay. Their next rule is called a hedging rule, which is simple. Okay. It says it right here. Holding both long and short positions simultaneously on the same or correlated instruments is strictly prohibited. So let's just say you have, 10 accounts, right? Let's just say you have 20 accounts. And on 10 of those 20 accounts, you go long, and on the other accounts, you go short. That's hedging. Or, yeah, no, that's it. That's the rule right there. I don't need to say anything else. And they also have a rule that's called one direction rule, which is basically the same as the hedging rule. Okay. And honestly, if you're hedging, if you're going long over here and then short over here on two separate things, you don't know how to trade. Okay. Why are you doing that? Why? What is the point of that besides winning the trade? If you're doing that, I'm sorry, you have no strategy. You're getting cooked. That's just it. Okay. So that was most of their rules. I'm going to double check if they have more, because they do have a couple. Okay. Required minimum balance to request a payout. So right here, in order to request a payout with Apex on a 50K account, you need at least $2,600 of profit. If you have $2,600 in profit, you can actually request $500. Okay? But if you want to go for that max payout on a 50K account, which is what I did, that's $2,000 max payout. And the balance you need in order to do that is $4,100. Okay, that's what I did. Once my balance was at $4,100, then I requested the payout. That was it. I did the bare minimum. What's another payout rule they have? Okay, and I think that was it. Oh, and then their main rule it's not really a rule, it's just how their account works, is called the trailing drawdown. If you don't know what trailing drawdown is, honestly, it's a bullshit rule. Okay, it sucks because with trailing drawdown, let's just say you got in a trade and you were $500 into profit, so you decide to break even. Okay, if you have trailing drawdown and that trade hits break even, you actually lost $500 on your drawdown. So even though you didn't lose the trade, you did lose money on your drawdown because it trailed your profit, even though you didn't take profit. So that's why like it's not a good thing to deal with. It's very hard to trade with trailing drawdown. So when I got these accounts, my first goal was to get over the trailing drawdown threshold, which was on a 50K account was 2,600. After you get to 2,600, the trailing drawdown stops and it stays at 0. Okay, so that was the first goal, was getting over the trailing drawdown. Now, this is the plan that I created a couple months ago. At first, this was all just an idea, a dream, a thought. And I created a plan for it. And a couple months later, I executed the plan and I got paid, which is crazy. This is not my screenshot here. I got this screenshot again a couple months ago from Twitter. And this is actually what my bank account looks like. I have Chase, so the check looks exactly like this. It's crazy because my biggest month was before this month. It was 22,000 from trading, and I've just doubled that personal record, which is crazy. And I also have the opportunity to quadruple the record because I could get a second 40K payout, but we'll see. I'm taking it slow. Anyways, yeah, this was the main plan here. It was a 40K Apex payout plan, and I needed 50 accounts in order to achieve it. I would request 2,000 from each account, equaling 40K. That was the plan. And then the balance goal at first was 4,600, but actually it's 4,100. So I fixed it. Boom. You need $4,100 in order to request 2,000. Okay. So what's the first step? The first step is getting over the trailing drawdown. So at 2,600, trailing drawdown stops. So at first I said, okay, trailing drawdown is hard to get over. So what I'm going to do is once I see profit, I'm going to take it. So I was thinking if I just aim for a 1-to-1, then I would close it out until I get 2,600. That was the plan at first. But what happened was, me personally, I just don't like 1-to-1s. And I feel like if I take a trade and it hits a 1-to-1, it's most likely going to hit a 1-to-2. So if you look at my stats when I was trading, most of the winning days, I closed out at exactly a 1-to-2. Most of the trades. On some days, I did hit a 1-to-1 and I closed it out. And honestly, the days where I hit a 1-to-1, it was like an emotional decision, because most of the days that I hit a 1-to-1, it also went up to 1-to-2. So, yeah, I don't like 1-to-1s. That is why I just did a 1-to-2. And it was easy because, I was taking it slow. If I lost a trade or it went break even, it wasn't the end of the world. I was just being patient, waiting for the next opportunity. I took these accounts very slow. It took 21 trading days to get the payout. It did not take 8 days. Okay, I took my time with it and it paid off. Also, thankfully, I actually got a nice winning streak, which got me over that $2,600. Very cool. Oh, also, this is the emails that I got when it did get approved. So that was cool. But yeah, so that was first, getting over the trailing drawdown. What you could do is just aim for a 1-to-2. But if you aim for a 1-to-2, you have to make sure you at least break even. Because if your trade goes from a 1-to-2 and it hits your stop loss, you most likely lost 3 Rs. Three of those how do I say that? 3R. You risked 1R, you were up 2R, you lost the trade, so you lost 3R because of the trailing drawdown. I think. Anyways, if your trade hits a 122 and you have trailing drawdown and you get stopped out, you're gonna lose way more than what you risked. Okay, you could blow your account that way. So when you get funded with Apex, you have to make sure you're taking profit when you hit a certain amount, because you don't want to be up a good amount and then it stops you out at break even and you blew your account. You don't want that to happen. It's happened to me before with Take Profit Trader, and it was BS. It was very upsetting. So just make sure if you're in profit, fucking take it. That's it. Okay? And then the consistency rule. Again, from the beginning, I said the way I'm going to get over this consistency rule is just making sure the biggest day is not over $1,200, which was fine because I was closing it out at a 122. So each winning day, when it was a nice winning day, it was $500. Okay, simple. What's the next rule here? At least 8 days, and then 5 days, which I already went over. That's simple. Don't just aim for 8. Don't try to aim to make your payout in 8 days. If you do that, you're gonna rush yourself, and you guys know what happens when you rush yourself. You make stupid trades, stupid decisions. So just take your time if you're actually trying to get a payout. And then their other 30% consistency rule, their negative profit and loss rule, is just never take a trade that loses more than $750. That's it. Which was easy to do because I was only risking $200 to $300 per trade. Usually it was around $250. But yeah. And then this is just me late at night thinking about it. You know, what if I actually get this payout? What if I fail? But what if I succeed? So yeah, it's just crazy to think that, you know, I made this payout plan a couple months ago and I now like officially have done it. And I have the opportunity to do it again with the same account. Which I'll give you guys an update on. This week was pretty hard for me. I think it was hard for a lot of people because the market's just, you know, they weren't giving. Okay, the openings were pretty weak. The openings were pretty choppy. So the markets definitely were not in my favor this week. I definitely could have avoided these losses by not trading, for sure. But it is what it is. If you're wondering how much drawdown I have left in each account, I currently have about, I think it's 1,500 to 1,800 around there in drawdown. So I don't have a crazy amount left, but I know it's going to happen, right? So in order for me to get over the drawdown, of course, I need to win trades, but I also need to manage risk very, very tightly. Okay, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Another possibility is I blow the accounts. If that happens, then it's fine because I already got a payout from them. And honestly, if that does happen, then I'm going to try to get 20 accounts again and repeat it again. Hopefully Apex doesn't ban me though, because they do that. So we'll see. I don't know. Another thing is just like after getting such a big payout, of course, you want to have that feeling again, but you can't. After you get a payout, you kind of just have to chill out. You have to humble yourself. You have to slow down. And you have to focus on the right things. You know? For me, for example, I got this 40K payout. I got on a losing streak. I had to stay focused on what got me to this point, which was it was just me waiting for my A+ setup. That's really it. And of course, managing risk properly. But yeah, that was it for today's video. I know it was a long video, but it's just because Apex has so many rules. Another thing I saw on my payout video was, oh, she got her payout approved because she streams it and like she shows it. that is not the case. Okay, I did not know if this payout was gonna get approved or not, but it got approved because I followed all of the rules. And the best part is that if you don't believe me, I streamed it all on YouTube. I did it in front of thousands of people. It took time, but I did it. So yeah. I hope if you're watching this, I hope you are inspired by it. If I could do it, you could do it. Which I know sounds cliche, but it's true. Like, I saw trades by Matt. I don't know if you guys know, but last year he got like multiple 40K payouts. And seeing him was like, whoa, like, bro, if he could do it, I could do it. Why not? So it's the same thing with you and me. If I could do it, why can't you? And I'm not saying it has to be with Apex, but if I can get a payout like this, make this much money from trading, I 100% believe you can do it as well. You just kind of have to take it slow. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I feel like I had something else to say, but I don't. I mean, shit, if you saw this mark on my forehead, my girlfriend thought it was funny to kiss my forehead. And she gave me a little hickey on my forehead. So I don't know if you guys saw that, like, that's what it is, unfortunately. Yo, it's such a weird spot, but that happened. Hopefully that made you laugh. That was it. Okay, boom. Damn, I'm like, forgot how to end the video. I mean, you could use code up. Let me see. You can use code up on Alpha Futures, Tradeovate. I don't have a code with Apex yet, but I think I will. I will only advertise Apex on their 90% sale, because I just feel like that's the time to get the accounts. That's when I got the accounts, or when they just have like a decent sale, then go for it. But if you're going to trade with Apex, you have to understand all of their payout rules, and you have to understand what trailing drawdown is. You shouldn't go buying Apex accounts blindly. Okay? So, yeah. I love you guys. I recently got 6,000 subscribers, and I'm very thankful. Hopefully we hit 10K soon. Maybe 100K. Who knows? But I love you guys, man. Thank you guys for all the support. Everyone that said congratulations. Thank you. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video.